Welcome to Tigers Untapped, a Bluff City media podcast. Stepping up to the microphones are your hosts, Trey Lasley and TJ Willis. Pull up your chair, grab your favorite brew, and enjoy the conversation. Now, let's get to the show.
What up, what up, what up? We're back live from BCM Studio again, 2 weeks in a row, TJ.
They let us come back.
I know they did. Episode 29, Tigers Untapped, brought to you by Hoop City Basketball. If you got a young one, 5 to 14, they got camps all summer long. You can sign up. Go to bluffcitymedia.co/Hoop City. You'll get $95 off your registration fee. If you sign up a team at 10, that's almost a G off of registration fees. That's a deal right there.
That's a good deal.
Sign up, you youngsters. Get them to camp. They got games, coaching clinics. They're going to have visitors, I think some Grizzly. Desmond Bain, I think, was there last week. So they got good things going on over there at Hoop City. Tej, happy Monday. What'd you do this weekend?
I don't know. Well, I can't recall.
No?
I think I was just being a dad.
Wow. Yeah, that's all you have time
Oh,
for.
we took our friends some dinner. They also had children. They had twins.
They had two at once. For those of you who are unfamiliar with that, that's called twins.
Yeah.
But shout out to Lauren and Mav.
Yeah.
Breaking news, did y'all know I'm a twin?
No, you have never once in your life mentioned that.
I'm a twin.
Really?
Brother or sister?
I have a sister.
Wow.
Yeah, her name is Erin.
That's incredible.
I got the facial hair. She got everything else.
Wow.
Yeah.
What? Are you making this up?
I am not.
Who's older?
I am a minute older.
1 minute.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
She was coming out first, and I kicked her in the face. And she came out with a big old cone head and had to stay in the NICU for a long time. And I was at home chilling.
Kenny.
I've never heard this.
Little savage.
That is insane. Just kicking your sister in the head.
She's never let me forget it.
Wow. As she shouldn't. That's unbelievable. I had no idea.
Learn something new every day. Trey.
Tej, tell the folks at home what we're drinking this eve.
This is Meddlesome. Welcome to the Dirty Dover.
TJ pointed this out right before we started this evening. 8.5%.
8.5% is a big boy.
Is this the most alcohol heavy we've ever had on the show?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's pretty high. That's a pretty big percentage.
That's stout.
I wish mine were colder instantly.
You don't have a cold beer over there?
It's chilly,
We
but
got
not
we have
cold.
the fridge right here.
It's so far.
The fridge holds 24, if you can't tell. It's like a tent in Harry Potter. You go in, it's much bigger inside.
It's Mary Poppins handbag.
Yeah, man.
I think there's one 12-ounce drink in that refrigerator.
They can hold 6.
Wow, that does not look like it could
I
hold
got
a
it at Target for $25.
It's not a
I
bad
mean, I'm
deal.
honestly just impressed that it is functioning. It works.
I definitely thought it was for looks. I didn't think
Yeah,
it
it
was
looks like a model.
It actually works.
Yeah,
I mean, it
it's
takes
incredible.
like 4 days for it to cool something down.
Well, yeah,
but
when you pack 6 in there, I can
only
there's not
imagine,
a
right?
whole lot of space for coolness to get up flowing around. So Tej, you just dadded all weekend.
just dadding it up.
Yeah, it's a good weekend.
We went to the farmers market as well.
Y'all are big farmers.
We are
market
big
people
farmers
over there.
market, as you can tell.
Yeah. What's your go-to farmers market in the city?
Oh, Agri Center.
Wow,
Yeah,
it's right across the street from me.
it's not too far.
Not
what do
too
y'all
far.
what do y'all stock up on when you go?
Oh, we get zucchini. We get squash. Usually blueberries. My son's a big strawberry guy. I'm allergic, so I don't touch them.
Kenny, is that not strange to be allergic to strawberries?
Well, I grew up with a father that was
I've
allergic
never-
to pineapple, and so
That is, I feel that. I mean, I guess it makes sense you could be allergic to anything, but until knowing TJ, I'd never heard of anybody being allergic to strawberries,
You don't control these things, you know? It
which
what
is
it
very unfortunate because strawberry stuff is great. TJ can't have anything strawberry.
I
not
like
even
blueberries.
like fake strawberry stuff.
So
He
it's
can't
funny
risk
you,
it.
You mentioned that.
You seen how much EpiPens are these days?
I once used a strawberry shampoo and the back of my neck broke out. I think that was just like a coincidence.
You can't even touch a strawberry.
I think I've touched them and not broken out. But I mean, I just get hives. It's not like I'm like,
What do you use now? Horse and Mane?
Yeah, that's what we use. There's a lot going on back there, man. You really got to butter that thing up.
Yeah, I noticed you had it bunned up tonight.
Yeah, man. I look like just trash when it's down sometimes, so I just got to put it up and act like it's not
Yeah,
there.
2 weeks ago, my mom thought that you were a
woman.
a man on the street asking for change.
All right, what's on the docket today, man? What we got?
Big news here on a Monday. We got a commitment, TJ.
We did get a commitment.
Why'd you say it like that?
I mean, I think it was a surprise
To us?
I didn't think he was coming.
I didn't either, to be honest, because we weren't his only visit, right? He was visiting Xavier, I think,
Yep.
which he visited after he was here. Typically, how it's worked out for Penny is once he gets them on campus,
Yeah.
I mean, they're committing before they leave,
Yeah.
right? So typically, I guess, in those instances, if they get off campus without a commitment, you kind of feel like maybe the opportunity's passed, but not in this case.
Sure.
We got a commitment today from 6'6", what is he, guard, small forward?
I think he's just a wing.
Just a
Probably the
wing.
safe way.
Junior from St. John's. He spent 2 years at DePaul, spent last year at St. John's, so he's a Big East guy from the Dominican Republic, so that may play a little part in that. We're going down to the DR for a little
Coincidence.
preseason ball, so maybe he'll get some NIL there. But, man, last 2 years he's averaged 14 points basically his previous 2 years and 7 boards. An assist and a half. Steals are up over like 1.5. I mean, you've asked it before. How you feel about it? And I know this was a big thing for you. No waiver needed.
I feel instantly better. Once you told me no waiver and that he was a grad student after 3 years, which is impressive considering he's school hopped, I feel instantly better. I think my general concern is like knowing what is he as a player. He's 6'6".
He's a hooper, TJ.
I know, but he's 6'6". He played the 4 at St. John's, and that AAC is not necessarily known for having just big bodies galore everywhere, right?
Sure.
But at 6'6", you got to think that it's a little small at the 4 spot, right?
It is. I don't think he's going to play 4 here, though. I think
don't-
he's more of a 3.
I agree. And that was kind of one of my the takeaways with it is that he and Leonard are basically just switchable completely. Like, it doesn't really matter who you got where, especially if Leonard is actually the 6'10" that he claims to be on his driver's license now. I don't care if he's 6'8", 6'7", it doesn't matter. I like the flexibility there to be able to interchange those two guys.
Yeah. I mean, in that scenario, would you say Leonard's more the defensive
Yeah.
heavy? I mean, I think Jones is pretty solid defensively. I mean, he averaged, 1.7 steals 2 years ago, 1.3 last year. That's pretty good numbers.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fine. I think Leonard's bread and butter is being the defensive transition guy.
Yeah.
Just defend, get in transition, bucket.
Yeah.
So,
Jones more of a volume guy offensively. Not, eye-popping numbers by any means. He shot 39% from the field and 29.5% from 3.
yeah.
He did take a bump up in free throws this year, shooting almost 79%. Over last year was 69%. But I'll tell you that he rebounds the heck out of the ball.
Yeah.
I watched some highlights earlier. Offensively, he's got like a 10% offensive rebound rate.
Yeah, and I'm curious if that is more so because he was playing so close to the basket, playing the powered forward, or is he just a
I will
solid
tell you
rebounder?
this. In the film, he knows how to read the basketball in the air and anticipates where it's coming off.
Sure.
He wasn't always right by the goal. I mean, he was cutting in hard
Yeah.
when a shot goes up with the anticipation of where it's going to end up, and he was getting it. So the effort is there, which I've always been a big proponent of. Like, rebounding is a lot of effort and then just an understanding of where the ball is coming off.
Do you think
Crashing the glass. I mean, that's what it takes, and that's what he does, at least on film.
Sure.
The 90 seconds of film that I watched.
How do you think it's fair to say that he is a better Elijah McCadden? That kind of that utility guy, he kind of does a little bit of everything.
I mean, it's hard to say because at this point last year, yes, I would have said David Jones is the better basketball player.
Sure.
But having watched Elijah for a year, I think he did exactly what you needed him to do.
Yeah.
And he was damn good at it. Cutting to the basket, scrappy, kind of stuff that's not always showing up on stat sheets he was doing, whether it was tipping a ball, keeping it alive, whatever.
Yeah.
I think David is probably an overall better basketball player. But again, I didn't watch a ton of the Red Storm last year.
Yeah. I mean, he had a super high usage rate, which is something that makes me kind of think that he may be that kind of
higher than Kendrick for us, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what you said?
I think so, yeah. It was like
which makes those numbers even more
26, 27, 28. So yes and no, right? He has this super high usage rate, but is it because his team wasn't that great and he was having to force a lot of shots?
Sure.
Just because the ball gets to him, it gets stuck in ISO, what's he going to do? And he has to throw it up kind of situation. So I think he'll be fine for us. I don't.
Just fine.
Yeah, I don't expect him to be the first option like he was at St. John's. Like I'm not expecting that same type of production here. I think it may drop a little bit, but you're also with the hypothetical of DeAndre coming back with Caleb Mills. That's someone else who tends to be a pretty large volume guy.
I think this roster compared to last year is obviously much more evenly distributed. We were pretty top heavy last year.
That's fair.
Obviously, if DeAndre comes back, you've still got a guy that is probably your go-to. The ball should go through him offensively. Sure. With Caleb Mills has shown potential to be that.
Yeah.
But I will say, John Rothstein said that and I know you didn't like this, but potential AAC quality player of the year. And that's, count them, 1, 2, 3 potential all-conference player of the year guys on your roster in Caleb Mills, who, if I'm not mistaken, was the player of the year his freshman year. DeAndre, who's very capable. And now David Jones, who could be in that running too. That's 3 on the roster.
So let's just clear the air. It wasn't that I didn't like it. I just thought it was bold. The AAC has tons of good players, right? It's not that.
Yeah, if you're counting Jamal Shed, which you've been, he doesn't even go here anymore.
I forgot.
TJ just keeps bringing up Shed. Like I was trying to think. If he wins American Conference Player of the Year while playing in the Big 12, that is damn impressive.
Oh man, I was just trying to think of guards that were good last year. I mean, but my point stands.
You're taking the field.
I take the field,
like whatever, and that's fine. I think he was just saying he has the potential to be that caliber of a guy.
I've explained already that I thought that his numbers are going to drop because he's coming to a team where he's not going to be that guy anymore. He's not going to be the everything runs through.
He's not the only option.
Exactly, and it seems like he was that at St. John's for the most part. Yeah. Not completely, but it did seem like that for the most part.
Yeah. I mean, he can knock down a 3-ball. I saw some clips of him hitting them, especially from deep, but it seems like his strong suit is getting to the rim and finishing. Sure. He's got a strong lower half, good control. Can finish through contact. So I think getting out in transition and attacking the glass is kind of what we're going to see from him.
How does the addition of Jones affect your starting lineup? Remember, we touched on this on a previous episode.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? You want me to tell you what he does to the sausage maker first?
I would love for you to tell me what he does to the sausage maker.
Well, we were 60th for those of you at home, if you remember. He's added, and he is projected to be our top usage guy. So you going out on that's bold of you to say that he will not be the go-to guy. Moves us up 8 spots to 52nd.
Okay.
Which I'll tell you this, it's better than Jaden Bradley. He didn't move us at all when I put him in.
Yeah, that was surprising. I remember that.
I'll take it. We're going the right direction now.
I'd say with
2 spots left, and you throw DeAndre some sausage. You're talking top 25 ball club.
What's DeAndre sausage do to us?
DeAndre with Jones on the roster now, you're at 24th.
It's a big difference, man.
You're talking about, and I know you love some FAU Owls, but that's a potential American Conference favorite roster right there.
It's not that I love
Penny,
them.
We'll get to Penny's comment.
I know that the metrics are going to show with them returning everyone, they're probably going to be a top 10 team. They're not going to be.
Is that based on their roster or because they just made a run to the Final Four
both.
when they should have lost in the first round?
It's both.
If they'd lost us in the first round, they're not a top 10 team.
I don't know. They returned everyone. I still think they are pretty high up there.
People are high on them because they had a good run in the Final Four.
That's fair. I think that plays into it, absolutely. But also not losing anyone is such a big... No, I'm not either. But the metrics are going to show that they are the new Houston in terms of the metrics because they are the American team that's ranked in the top 10, 15, or whatever it's going to be. And I'm not saying they're going to have the output of Houston by any means.
That's some big cap, man.
It is.
That's big cap, bro. Big cap. They took one run to in the NCAA tournament. Now they're the next Houston in the AAC. That's crazy.
You're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm saying that they will be the highest ranked American team in the preseason.
They will be the first ones out of the top 25.
Mark TJ to that.
That's fine. I'm just saying they're going to be
you
the
wanted your
preseason
keg
favorite.
stands. For those of you at home, TJ and I are coming up with segments. We got one that's called the keg stands. We're going to take one right now.
Okay.
Where TJ and I have strong opinions. We are standing for something, and I will say that FAU is not going to be the number one team in America.
At the preseason or at the end of the year?
Both.
Who cares about the preseason?
Well, that was my whole point. Is at the preseason, I think they're going to be FAU will be the number one projected team from the American.
We're not even done building a roster yet, baby.
I agree. I don't make these numbers. I'm letting you know what these dumbos are going to do. 100% they're going to put FAU number one.
Without a doubt, they're going to put them at number one in the conference. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
But they are.
And that's all I've said.
You are a wet blanket, man.
I'm just saying, when they put FAU over us, you'll know why. Because of the run they made, because Dusty May stayed around, because no one transferred out, no one went pro, nothing. They bring back everything they had from a Final Four team, and here we are. That's all I've said.
Okay.
They're definitely going to be the higher ranked team than us.
They won't win the
And
American,
I'm not even shocked.
and they will not make it out of the first round.
You want me to? You want a keg stand? I'll give you a keg stand. I may be bold enough to say they could put Tulane ahead of us as well.
I'm leaving. Kenny, end the episode.
Let's end this episode.
We literally beat them by 40.
It's not
the last time we stood on a basketball
They
court.
just lost. They just
and
lost.
Jalen Cook is gone.
He's gone. He's like, what are you talking about?
Hey, it's not me. I would put Memphis over Tulane.
The other coaches?
Whomever. I don't know.
The media?
The media, probably. AP poll. Why not? Hear me out. It's not me. I am not saying this. I would put Memphis over Tulane. My point is, I would not be shocked if they put Tulane higher than Memphis. Not one bit.
That's wild. That's a wild statement.
That's why we have keg stands, baby.
If they put Tulane over us, 40 points, Timothy.
Whomst are you
Beat
talking
down,
to?
sucker, beat you. All right.
This 8.5 is getting to me. Maybe that's what I'm talking
Very
about.
quickly. Are you finished with that already?
I'm pretty close.
Wow. We got a lot of time to go before your last sip.
I'll drink yours.
All right, so we talked about David Jones. Penny met with the media this morning before he played, I think it was the AutoZone Liberty Bowl golf tournament. By the way, do you think he had a hush mane while he was out there?
I hope so.
Penny, if you're listening, we know that you are. You need a hush mane on the course. Or a transfusion. Big transfusion guy on the golf course. But hush mane, great golf beer.
Is that grape juice? Is that grape juice and vodka?
And ginger ale. It's a great, great drink. Very refreshing.
Sounds like it'd be decent.
He had a couple comments this morning. First, in regards to DeAndre's situation, he said, and I don't know the direct quote, but it was something along the lines of, we first found out about this about a month and a half ago when the NCAA told DeAndre that he had another year of eligibility. Do you think that that is an accurate statement? The NCAA called DeAndre and was like, hey, bro, no, you've done Port Smith, you're declaring, but you have another year. Just throw that out there. And then our university compliance office came back and was like, the NCAA doesn't know what they're talking about. You don't have a year. Do you think that's how that went down?
That's the way he sure as heck worded it.
I mean, that's what I heard too. But that is a wild.
If that happened, my 0% chance, I may add a 10 in front of it. Give me 100%.
Exactly.
If it's calling you and saying, hey, man, you've got a year left.
Yeah.
What is the case?
Yeah.
What are
Who
we
is
talking
this
about?
rogue NCAA agent that decided to call the University of Memphis and say,
And how
hey,
do you think
best friend,
Yeah,
that's
how
what
do you
he
think
is.
they was that a call, just an anonymous? Hey, this is
Facebook
the NCAA. Yeah, how'd you get that? A
Instagram,
DM?
did someone slide into the DMs?
Yeah, was it the official NCAA basketball Instagram account?
I feel like everyone heard that quote and was like,
There's no way that's right. The NCAA called and said, DeAndre, you got another year.
you heard it the same way
But
I
if
did.
that's the case, then DeAndre's on the team, and the sausage maker we're 24th. We're winning the
If
American.
they call at this point, he may get a second year at this point. The NCAA may create the DeAndre rule.
There may be no more limitation on eligibility. You
Yeah.
can play as long as you want.
In all seriousness, if that is how that went down, which doesn't make any sense at all, then what the hell are we talking about? DeAndre's back, right?
I mean, yeah.
And I think,
I don't see how he's not. I mean, Penny also said he felt really good about the situation.
well, you got to say that, right?
I mean,
Compliance
do you?
office didn't.
I think.
Yeah,
I think Penny's an honest guy and upfront when he does. Like, I think he would say, "I really don't know." You know, like
I think he's going off Jackson's experience with
And
the
statement.
with how he has had this whole thing work
And
out
handled,
once before.
yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
New keg stand, the compliance office doesn't seem to be that good at their job. Maybe some confusion. No, I'm kidding. I think it's just he's so.
Are you kidding?
I think it's just they follow things so black and white. I think that's the only way they could.
What's
have looked
more
at
black
that.
and white than the institution telling you
because
have?
as a non-qualifier, you get 5 years to play 4. Like there's a
Yeah,
it's a
but if
direct
the
rule.
NCAA is contacting
I
DeAndre
know, but
and they're the one that make the rules, and what's
It
more
wasn't a 3-way call.
black and white?
They didn't tag them in. They're just going off. Hey, man, you spent 3 years
goodness.
at Evansville, even though you didn't play one, and the last 2 at Memphis. Like, what are we talking about? You're done.
When's the last time you were on a 3-way call?
Last month, actually, my manager and director called me.
Can you can still do that?
They did it. I don't know. I don't know how to do it.
You can on FaceTime if you have
What
an
was-
iPhone.
What was it you used to have to press in order to do a 3-way? The *69 block your number.
No,
that
that
was star
recalls
67,
the
dude.
number. *69 is when you want to. If someone calls
67.
you and hangs up.
*67 was block your number. Right?
No, but one of those, like block it, like they
yeah,
couldn't say
like
who was calling.
no caller ID.
Yeah. Dang, dude, throwback. No, I just don't think the compliance office was aware that the NCAA is just calling people up all the time and letting them know that they have eligibility.
Yeah, but surely if DeAndre gets a call from the NCAA, he's like, "Yo, the NCAA president just called me. I've got another year." You think the compliance office may like double check that and be like, "Oh, really? The NCAA called you?" Not just no, you don't. You're done.
I don't know how it works. I don't know if Penny and Co. are talking to the compliance office on a daily basis, and maybe they should be.
Maybe they haven't talked to the compliance office.
seem like they have.
All I've heard is media members that have reached out and reported what the compliance office told them.
So, I mean, just what does the compliance office do? Like, what is their job purpose?
Make sure we're in compliance.
Don't you think eligibility falls in that? Like, at some point,
mean,
this
I
has to
would
come
think
back
so.
on them. And this isn't a shock. Anyone that's a Tiger fan, we've had these conversations with compliance before. I don't know if you've heard of James Wiseman and that whole case. Like, this isn't the first time we have dealt with compliance. So I'm not trying to crap on them because like I wasn't there. I don't know the details, but from the outside looking in, someone dropped the ball somewhere. I don't know if it's on Penny and staff for not reaching out to the compliance office saying, "Hey, NCAA said they shot DeAndre a text and said he's got another year. Maybe you should look into this." I don't know if it's the compliance office needs to check in with Penny and team and just saying like, "Hey, you guys got anything new?" Like, I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
But someone dropped the ball. And I don't think that's up for debate.
So with that tidbit, if true, you've said you go from 0 to maybe even 100%. It's happening. If that's the case? Like, what would be the reasoning for not getting like? I mean, I think it was on the radio today. I don't know if it was Giannato or Munn. Somebody was saying, the NCAA could come back and say, "Well, why'd you wait till now to do it?" Obviously, he had some things going on in his life, like
he also didn't know.
Right. I mean, they're
He
just
was-
saying, why didn't you look into it before now, I guess.
Because he's always, from everything that we have known and everything that we have heard, he has been under the impression that he does not have eligibility. And I mean, I think there's one piece, like one quote out there that counter.
Until he got that letter from the NCAA, like a Hogwarts letter. I'm on my Harry Potter game tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
Got that letter in the mail. Said, you got a year.
Yeah.
So what's he need an attorney now for if the NCAA's already told him he has a year?
That's a great question. And that's an interesting too, because like you can't have an agent, but you can have an attorney. You can have like counsel. And I'm like, what's the real difference there when it's all said and done?
Now you can have an agent. It's got to be approved.
We need Benjamin Fishman on this show to figure out all the nuances of counsel and agent. and
There's
all
a
that kind of-
segment.
That's a segment.
NCAA legal questions.
Where's
with
Texas
Fishman.
Tiger at? Where's Texas Tiger? We need you on. You're
Either
flying
one.
here.
Get him on. All right. So if we take that into account in DeAndre, or do you feel good about where the roster's
I
at?
feel
Are you
dramatically
set?
better.
Or are you looking for one more piece?
I mean,
You add Jones, what you have. If Mikey shows up, which he made comments on that today too, kind of saying, hey, he is still a part of the program as of now. We're waiting till June 29th to see what comes of the hearing.
yeah.
But as far as we're concerned, he's a Memphis Tiger. If you get Mikey, you add DeAndre. I'm anything else. Like, I'm not particularly looking for anything else at that point. I think you're set in a roster. I mean, you obviously have potentially one more to add somebody, but like Penny said it himself. I guess if you wanted a true five, you could bring Malcolm back, or I don't know what's. I mean, Arkansas Dirk's gone. That was a true five, and he was a top 11 guy in the portal.
If they can find another scholarship, and that may be putting Jaden back on walk-on,
Sure.
work the system. I think I'm going to take a curveball here, and I'm going to go a different route. I'm not. If you have DeAndre back, you've got Chandler. We're going to go on the premise that Tiafale is 6'10".
Yeah, so Penny's
He can play super small ball five.
he made comments about playing small ball and reference, which is hilarious to me. I feel like we are always like, what's the hot thing? And he referenced St. Peter's beating, or not St. Peter's.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Give me the name. Barry Dickinson.
Fairleigh Dickinson
Yeah.
beating Purdue.
Purdue playing small ball.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we really small ball when you're looking at like
6'5",
Leonard 6'10", Pierre 6'10", JJ 6'7", Chandler 6'7", Jaden 6'5", Jourdain 6'8", DeAndre 6'9".
Small ball is a skill set, not a height wise.
Yeah. I think that's just a bunch of rim runners is what he's basically saying there.
Which, I mean, length and athleticism, I'm like, that's a good defensive team.
Yeah, I think if they can free up another scholarship, I'm not going point guard. I'm not going center.
Not even if it's Yuri.
That's a different conversation. He's staying in the draft though. That ship has sailed, unfortunately. So, no, I think I would look at shooting guard. Find someone that is a consistent
Just a
three.
knock down. What is
Yeah.
our highest percentage three on the team right now?
Oh boy, 34 is my
No,
guess.
it's gotta be
Pierre.
Jonathan Pierre.
Pierre doesn't count. That's a D2. It's kind of
he
hard
shot
to.
40 something.
Yeah, it's
How
hard.
does
to,
that not count?
I know
Shooting
it
a three is
counts.
shooting a three.
I know. That I shouldn't say it doesn't count. Outside of Pierre,
I mean, even if it's in junior college, it counts. 1 for 1 is 1 for 1.
looking at you, Will.
Have you come up with the rules for our 3-point shooting yet?
Yeah, you guys got to stand behind the 3-point line and shoot the ball.
TJ.
No, if I'm a 3-point shooter, if I'm a shooting guard,
You're looking at one.
If I can look at this roster and say you've got Caleb Mills, hypothetically Mikey,
Caleb's been able to shoot.
you've got
three.
Young, you're going to have Jones, who kind of ran that point forward, it seems, at St. John's. You're going to have DeAndre. We've seen point DeAndre at times, even though he kept throwing that damn lob.
Bro. I don't even the freaking lob
I
entries
feel
to the
feel
post.
okay with having those guys running the offense and then just having some ancillary guys. I think they can control the ball perfectly fine. I think you need to find someone at that shooting guard position because outside of, hypothetically, we'll say Mills starts at shooting guard. Your next guy is Jaden. If you have any injury, that is an issue.
A name that's been floated around that we've been connected to, at least Twitter, you count Reeves as that?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a knockdown shooter, I feel like.
Would you take that? I
would definitely take it. I don't think that one's coming, though.
I don't either. I think, to me, Jones committing is you're not getting Reeves.
Exactly. I think,
but if you had one more after DeAndre and you added Reeves, I would feel really good.
Yeah. There's going to be some rando out there, I'm sure, that Penny can somehow find that shot like 38%, something crazy, right? I think at this point right now, you have better three-point shooting than you had going into last year. At this time frame or in general?
Just in general. With no other addition to the roster.
Yeah, I can't remember what UTSA guy, Keontae.
Oh.
I don't remember what.
No,
it wasn't that great.
No, it was like 30 or 31.
But you saw like the potential there.
Right. So, I mean, he came in and worked on his shot and obviously was leading the conference at one point in shooting, three-point shooting. But I'm saying statistically looking at it going into last year, I mean, you really had...
It's very fair.
You had Kendrick and DeAndre who really wasn't shooting that much, and then Jaden who also hadn't really shot that much.
That's the one thing I think they could add that would make me feel better. And maybe you get that with Ashton, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Ashton is known for his shooting, so
That's
maybe
true.
that could be your guy.
Right. I wasn't even thinking about Ashton in that spot.
My question with Ashton is, what does he end up playing? Is he a three? Is he fast enough for three or mobile enough? Does he have the lateral quickness? We say three. Is he going to guard a wing? Does he get shift down some? Like he and JJ, size-wise,
I think if there's a concern coming in with Ashton, it's probably defensively and quickness and being able to defend, the 3-2 switch 2 through 4.
Yeah, so maybe he can be your shooter, and you don't even have to open up that other scholarship unless you just find another guy.
Yeah.
So.
No, but I feel good where we're at right now. Adding Jones, you get DeAndre.
Yeah.
And then potentially a piece for one more in there. All right, and then Penny also talked about this morning, interestingly enough, NIL, and made the statement of it's definitely something around it's more in play this year than it's ever been, recruiting-wise, right? Previously, I think he was basically saying, like, we've been able to recruit and not really worry about NIL or have to use it.
Yeah.
This year, it's become much more of a factor.
Yeah.
And basically said we haven't been able to get exactly what we want because of it. And I guess you could take that one of two. Like, either we don't have it or we don't think it's worth what guys are asking for.
Well, off the dome, I was told that we don't have an NIL problem. So let's get that out in the open. I think that's been completely squashed now.
What is it? Straight from the horse's mouth? Is that what it is?
Something like that, yeah. No,
Love to see people tell Penny he's wrong. Doesn't know what he's talking about.
I think it comes down to I think they're getting outbid, and that's essentially what he's saying. But to your point, it's sometimes you just bow out.
Yeah,
if a dude's
it could just be we've offered what we offer and think you're worth. You're not worth $450 or whatever somebody may be asking.
Yeah, you're replaceable, and in most cases, a lot of these guys are right. So,
which goes back to what we talked about last week, and like, what's the return on that?
Exactly. Like if I could make up arbitrary numbers, let's say last year Kendrick cost you $400,000, making up numbers, and now you have a guy like Bradley come in and says, "I want $450." It's like, well, you're not Kendrick.
Yeah.
You're not this. So why should I give you more than we gave him?
Yeah.
Not that you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So,
and Kendrick was proven.
Yeah, and that's a guy who was a fifth-year senior.
Right.
Not a second-year guy. And Bradley was good, and I would have enjoyed having Bradley on this team. But But that's not to say I'm not here just giving money away. And I think this comes back to our general conversation we've had with NIL before, and how inconsistent it is, and how it's probably not likely going to stand in the way it's set up currently. Like it just can't, right?
Yeah.
You can't be out here giving away $400,000 to a guy and then he averages 6 and 4,
Right.
something like that. The donors are gonna be like, what are we talking about? Like, I don't need my car dealership advertised this much.
Yeah.
We'll say it like that.
No, I get it. I think it's a combo. Yeah.
It's definitely an issue, without question.
Sure. Whether we have the sufficient funds or not, one way or the other, we either don't have them or we do have them. We're not willing to pay what people think that they're worth.
Which makes me feel better about things, right? If they're saying like, I want X amount, and you're just like, nah, you're good. Kick rocks.
Yeah.
I feel better about that.
Just find dudes that want to come in here and win.
Exactly.
They're not worried about, play for the love of the game.
I agree with you, TJ. That makes me feel a lot better too. That it's not some bidding war
Exactly.
for some random kid that really hasn't proven himself.
Right.
Right. Like there's a return on investment that it's clear that Penny Hardaway and his staff has a certain amount of funds that they're able to say, hey, we know that we can get this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is how we're going to divvy it up. And if you come in and you try to break the bank and we don't feel like you're worth it, then, bro, you can hit the road.
Yeah, man.
Go out to the desert. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's a pretty sick deal for Bradley, though. He gets the money. He lands at Arizona, #1 party school.
Good for him.
Yeah, he got a pretty good deal
Well,
there.
he didn't go to Arizona State, but I know what you mean.
Arizona.
Yeah. You
State.
said #1 party school, Arizona
Arizona
State.
State.
Oh, I thought
#1
Arizona
party
was
school.
#1 party school.
Maybe it's switched, but I've always heard it was Arizona State.
Tomato, man.
All right, Tej, anything else basketball before we take a break?
No.
All right, we'll take a break, come back, talk a little football, maybe a little conference realignment.
Baseball?
Smoke's been flaring up, and a little bit of, unfortunately, not good baseball news, but a little baseball. We'll be back.
What's up, guys? I'm so excited to announce that we have partnered with Coaching for Literacy, and you can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your subscription to Bluff City NIL is 100% tax deductible because of our partnership together. Thank you for supporting Memphis Tigers student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy.
All right, back. Had a little breaking, unfortunate baseball news over the weekend. Carrick Jackson out after 1 year as the head guy for the Diamond Tigs.
What are you going to do? You know, I think.
Stay longer than 1 year?
Yeah, I guess you could, right? I think that would be real cool. But in the grand scheme of things, right? He's going to the SEC. He's going to be pretty sure.
He's going #home.
Yeah, he's pretty sure he's going home. I think he's actually the first black baseball coach in the SEC.
Yep. Power 5, I think.
Even okay, well, you just expanded it even further. I mean, that's got to mean something special to him, right? He spent years there before. I can't remember how long he was there. I think 5 years there before. So I get it personally, the decision to go home. It does kind of hurt us though, right? Because I think the baseball program has been something that's been so. I don't want to say underachieving because they had that 2017 year. I think that was pretty good, but with all the local talent, you just expect more, right? And then you had this glimpse of hope under Carrick Jackson that you were like, maybe we can turn into something
Sure.
to get this new field, and then he vamps out the first chance he gets.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the Merriweather situation, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
felt like she was heading, and granted, she
Very
was
similar.
here more than 1 year, but you feel like the program's heading the right direction, like where you're at, like the coach you've got. You
Yeah.
feel good about the future. And then in her case, alma mater calls, in his case, home state, Power 5 team calls. don't blame him at all.
Sure.
I mean, you hate it for the university, you hate it for the baseball team, but hopefully they're able to make another good hire.
You know, I found this, and this is relative to what we're kind of talking about with just maybe some of these non-revenue generating sports, right? Women's basketball, men's baseball, things like that. According to the U.S. Department of Education's EADA, which is Equity and Athletics Data Analytics Database, Mizzou finished dead last in spending for SEC baseball at $2.5 million. Just to give you an idea, Memphis spent $1.4 million.
So they spend just over $1 million more.
A million more than us. We are dead last in the American in spending. So when you look at it, you kind of ask yourself, well, Mizzou is clearly an upgrade, without question, right? I think if anyone that follows college baseball, they know the SEC is an incredible conference, a powerful conference, all the top teams.
Yeah, they just had the most regional host ever, I think, in college baseball with 8.
They're hot right now, very hot. And we are spending $1 million less than them, and we're dead last in our own conference in spending. And I'm not saying that this is a situation where Memphis should take a look at themselves and reflect and just start spending more money for baseball. I think it is what it is, right? I don't think you need to go out and spend $2 million. I don't think that's going to guarantee wins anyway. So I just
how do we stack up with the rest of America? Are we? How much below the rest of the American?
Man, I got that pulled up for you.
While you're looking at that, how much is Missouri dead last in the SEC then?
Yes, they are. Yeah. So ECU, obviously a pretty notable baseball program.
Sure.
2.9, almost pushing 3.
Whoa. On baseball?
On baseball. Tulane, 2.9. Houston, this is dated. Houston, 2.6. Wichita State, 2.4. UCF, basically 2. It's 1.98. Cincy, 1.8. South Florida, 1.5. Memphis, 1.4.
What could Memphis spend more on though? Like what are your thoughts on that? Like and they just built a brand new stadium that is beautiful.
Yeah, very nice.
What are your what could they spend more money on?
Yeah, I mean that's got to be what coaches' salaries, assistants.
Yes, I would imagine the staff salary. We're talking baseball facilities. I don't know. I don't think I've seen the baseball facilities. I've seen the football facilities. They're great. Basketball facilities are great. Perhaps baseball facilities are just a little behind. That's my guess. Is you're just not keeping up with that.
I don't know that they have their besides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they have their own little. I know
complex. They used to use just that little tiny turf indoor space that we had previously.
I think they still use that. So, in the grand scheme of things, like what are we talking about? It's Memphis baseball. It's not really a program that we have high expectations for, but I think Carrick has shown you where you can get it if you put a little into it, at least get the right guy.
Got it going the right way.
Which, speaking of, our friend Brian Moss over at Rivals on TigerSportsReport.com, he had an article that came out where he made a couple suggestions on a few guys to replace Jackson. He stuck with Julian Henson, who's actually a local guy. He played at Cordova. I think he's a year older than me. Maybe doesn't have all the head coaching experience that you're looking for, right? Jackson was a great hire because he had done this before at Southern, right?
He was a big name in the baseball world.
Exactly.
With the pre-draft league, he was a president of, I think. But I don't hate that at all. I mean, given the hotbed of talent, this is a great baseball area of the country. So having a local guy could potentially has the connections locally to keep some of those kids home, I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah, he also mentioned Tim Jamison, who's the pitching coach, someone that's kind of a popular name, I think, right now. He's actually, ironically, he spent years at Mizzou, and that's actually where he met Jackson. Jackson worked for him under Mizzou. He was there for like 20-some-odd years. And they're actually pretty good. I think he made a couple straight, I think like 7 or 8 runs deep into the tournament there. But I think once they got to the SEC, it was just too much. Right, they kind of hit that juggernaut. He stepped down, and new guy stepped up, and obviously he's out now. So he's definitely one to consider, right? I think that's an easy transition. But another one is Omar Johnson, who I am not familiar with, so don't let me lie. but he is at Jackson State, and he has never had a losing record in his 15-ish years or so at Jackson State.
Ever.
What's
his worst record?
I don't have
put you
that
on the
pulled up,
spot.
but overall, he is 510 and 326. So 2 conference titles in the SWAC. He's clearly not working with much.
Sure.
And that's a guy who's winning a damn lot of games for not having much. And we just talked about Memphis being at the bottom of the budget for the American. Kind of sounds like you're hand in hand with what you got there. Now, I'm not saying that Omar Johnson's going to be, interested, but 3 times the budget is what Jackson State has. I think they are at, I can pull it up real quickly. You're working with 3 times the budget. They are at $570,000. And dude's winning games left and right. So is he a recruiter? Is he just a strategist? What's going on there?
They were 24-0 in conference 2 years ago.
Granted, it's the SWAC, right?
But
still,
still,
2 years ago, that means he went
to go
against Carrick Jackson.
undefeated in your conference in baseball is very impressive.
Yeah. That's going against Jackson because he was still at Southern.
They were undefeated 2 years in a row. They were 3-0 in the SWAC 3 years ago.
Just from what I'm reading here, this dude seems like he's
I
him.
mean, get him on
What
the
are
phone.
we doing?
Can I say something about him?
Yeah, man.
He's a damn good-looking man too.
All right.
Wow.
I'm gonna throw that
That's
out
a
there.
keg stand from Kenny.
That's my keg stand for the day. He's a damn good-looking dude.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing him in a Memphis uniform.
Omar,
All right.
head about, 150 miles north to Memphis.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I don't know if Omar is interested. He's been there for 15-ish years. We just talked the numbers, 5'10" and 326. He hasn't left for a reason. Is he waiting on a specific job? I don't know. But if you ask me, the guy seems to know
He
baseball.
may just like where he's at.
Yeah, and
Some people are comfortable.
I get it, right? But it's definitely someone I would make a phone call to. So, Brian, I mean, that's a good recommendation there. Can't fight that one.
I would take it.
Yeah.
All right, Teej. Don't have a whole lot of football going on. We hadn't gotten another recruit commit yet for Untamed 24. Did see this, read about this, saw this on the Twitter earlier today.
Okay.
Sideline Sports Report, I think Sports Network, tweeted out a graphic, post-spring projections, top quarterback in each state going into 2023.
You want me to guess?
Tennessee.
I'm going to say Joe Milton 1, Seth Henigan number 2.
Well, you'd be wrong because it is Seth Henigan number 1, and it doesn't matter who's 2
Wow.
because your boy Seth is number 1.
That's kind of wild to think about.
You don't
right?
agree with that?
No, it's not that I don't. I just assumed that Joe Milton would be number 1.
Is Joe Milton good?
It's pretty dang good. I mean,
I've seen some Joe Milton ball games, and
yeah.
kid's got an arm. But if you're throwing it in the first row of the stands, it doesn't really matter. Or
That's true.
if you're running out of bounds on the last play of a game.
That's true. What are we talking about? Seth has looked great, I think, for the most part. We've seen different versions of Seth, right? I think freshman year, he took us by storm. He kind of surprised us. I don't think anyone was expecting Seth to be Seth his freshman year, right?
Sure.
Especially coming off of years and years of Brady White, right? You didn't expect anyone to come close to that. And I haven't looked at the numbers, but he's pretty damn close to being one of the all-time passers in 2 years. It's pretty impressive. Look that up. I think this year he has a chance of scratching the surface at number 1. I think. Getting close. But,
Just yardage-wise?
yeah, just yardage-wise. So if you have a good year this year, and they're, by all means, they should have a good year this year, right? I think this is Ryan's.
He is currently 5th.
Yeah. What's the yardage?
6,893. Brady White is obviously number 1 with 10,690.
At a 3,200, what are we talking about?
It's 37-ish, 3,800.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, but he's scratching. He's getting pretty dang close.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, he's been very good for us. I think since we don't have the wins to back it up, people kind of tend to write it off kind of situation, but he's been pretty good, man.
I mean, it's achievable. He threw for 3,600 last year.
Yeah.
And that was, did he miss a game last year?
No, not a
that was
game.
UCF 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was limited in that Navy game. Wow.
So I'm just saying, like, it makes sense now that you say it. Maybe because Milton just doesn't have the pure experience.
Sure.
And Hyatt's gone from Tennessee. They've kind of lost some of their weapons, so maybe that plays a factor into it.
Memphis, the only American team on that list.
That's shocking to me.
Who else would you put on there?
Well, I was trying to think, but
Michael Pratt. What are y'all talking about?
well, that guy at
but
LSU is pretty dang good.
That was for Trey. I'm just.
TJ's the Pratt guy.
Yeah, I was the Pratt shit talker.
I think it's right. Big things coming from Seth this year.
Let's hope so. Projections over under 3,400 yards.
Oh, over. If he plays the whole year, over.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, he threw for 3,300 2 years ago, and he missed basically
really?
2 games.
Okay, well, I'm going to change that number, 3,600 then. I don't want to copy
You're
the same yardage.
essentially asking me if I think that he takes over the number one
Yeah, I mean,
this year.
essentially, yeah. I thought he was much closer than that, honestly. I thought like a 3,200
I think it's-
year would do it.
Gosh. That's tough. I'll take the over.
Okay.
Big year.
Kenny, you want to jump in there? Over under 3,600 for Seth this year?
I'm gonna take y'all's word for it. So what does that put him at then? Does that?
It's only been done 4 times in the history of Memphis Tiger football. So
Let's say he
maybe
goes
take the
over.
under.
How much is he? So you're saying if he goes over 3,600,
He needs
how much is he until he passes Brady?
like 3,800 to pass Brady.
I say he passes Brady this year.
Yeah, you get a bowl game on top of that. I mean, he can definitely pass it.
And a conference championship game, 100%. He needs 37.97 to pass Brady.
No pressure, Seth.
But you're also, you got to take
37.97?
into account,
That's a lot of yards.
I know it is,
Timmy Chang. That's wwho's doing that.
only 2 Tigers have ever thrown for more yards in a season. That was Brady White in 2019, threw for 4,014
Good Riley with the other one.
yards, and then Riley in 17 threw for 4,257. Riley was slinging that thing.
He was. Everything was a deep ball to Anthony. though.
Yeah, I mean, of those 4,200 yards, 3,100 were to Anthony.
Does it have his average on there?
No.
There's going to have like a 17 yards per attempt.
Riley threw for 471 twice in the same season.
Yeah, Riley, those offenses were huge under him, but it was literally the same thing nonstop.
Yeah.
It's just rip a big bomb to Anthony downfield. And it was untouchable.
So Seth will definitely pass Riley this year. He's only about 1,100 yards behind him. Will likely pass Paxton in third. He's only 2,000 yards behind.
Where's Martin Hankins on that list?
Hankins is 6th, right behind Seth right now at 5,700.
Okay.
Almost 5,800.
I kind of thought
yards.
he may be ahead of him.
And is that not a wild stat that he's about to pass all those guys? And wouldn't you say that his receiving core has not been as talented as the other guys that are above him?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, he's
the
had
exception.
Calvin.
Yeah, he had him per year. I mean, Riley was only 2 seasons too. But yeah, I mean, Paxton and Brady, I would say, had better receivers.
I think, dude, this gets tough because who is better between Calvin?
I mean, he also had. I mean, Calvin played that year hurt a lot.
Which year?
Seth's freshman year.
Yeah, that's true. He had the ankle thing. At their peak, Anthony or Calvin? Who's better? I know.
I mean, I might be the biggest Anthony Miller guy on the face of the planet.
You did just pick him.
100%. I picked an
Antonio-
All-American wide receiver. Yeah,
And he wasn't even a part of that list. It was Antonio.
I know he wasn't.
It was
But this team, I think that's the weakness. So was it Strike 7 put out, who would you take, Antonio? If you could add one former Tiger playmaker to the roster, who would it be? And it was Gibson, Gainwell, Calvin Austin,
TP,
or Tony Pollard.
I'd say Gainwell.
Of that list, I would probably take Tony.
That's right.
Just from a Swiss Army knife perspective, he can catch the
Just
ball,
does too
return
many
kicks,
things, dude.
hand it off to him in the backfield. Yeah. But if you just ask me straight up, any Tiger, it would be Anthony to this team. Because I think that's your biggest weakness in a wide receiver. And, dude, Anthony his leadership ability and just
he's got the quote on the wall,
him,
dude.
I think that's what this team needs, is somebody like Anthony in the locker room.
I think if I could add anybody, I would go Anthony as well. I think people slept on Anthony a lot. They
the whole world slept on Anthony.
In the sense that, like, if you look back at Tiger receivers, you're like, oh, Calvin, he's so fast, so gadgety, he's perfect. Anthony is not slow by any means. I don't remember his 40 time. I'm trying to look it up now, but I remember it was something absurd.
I mean, he had several. I mean, he had that long 80-yard touchdown against Cincy in 16 or whatever it was. He also, his ability to catch the football was insane.
I thought he ran faster. I keep seeing
he was a track dude though. He was fast enough in pads. I don't care what his timed 40 was.
I think y'all are sleeping on Antonio a little bit too.
Yes. I mean,
probably.
Antonio's got a little bit of that Swiss Army to him too, where he played receiver, but SMU specifically. I mean, he had a kick return, a handoff from the backfield. Like, I mean, it's definitely, I don't know. It's a good question.
It is a good question. I'm still sticking with Tony Pollard because of his ability to do 17 different things on the field for you.
And he's a Memphian.
Yeah. I think that
my Memphis bias is coming out, Kenny. I'm taking all Memphians.
I'm right there with you.
Former
if I had more
Tigers
Gibson,
that were Memphians,
then I'd be there with you. Like if he played,
I think that's
first
what
year,
it's getting. Yeah, I mean, and he really didn't. It wasn't until the SMU game that he really broke out.
If you had more Gainwell, dude, Kenny was.
I mean, I'd add Kenny. I would add any of them right now. You're making
the
me
answer is
pick.
yes. Give me all of them.
Yeah, but I would take literally any one of the 4 or 5 if you throw Anthony in there.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, Kenny went for 200 yards rushing and 200 yards passing. And was it the Tulsa game?
Yeah,
he sure
Tulane,
didn't have 200 yards passing
in 19. Yeah,
I meant receiving. Excuse me. What if he had 200, 200, and 200? That would be.
If we had lined him up to throw passes in that game, that would have been wild.
No, that's Gabe.
That is, gosh, what a throw!
I would never forget that pass.
I don't. As we should never forget. What a beautiful pass!
I got a shot of that was pretty epic.
Dude, you could have shot it.
Are you
from
saving that
row
for yourself?
173, and it was epic.
Did you?
It was sick.
Were y'all didn't go to the South Alabama game 2019?
I was there.
Sure did.
Yep, 100%.
You remember the catch in the
hottest
end zone?
day? Yes, of Watkins caught it.
Was it
Kylan Watkins?
Yep, Kylan Watkins. The diving catch in the end zone?
Yeah. So I was in the end zone when it happened.
Kenny, I wish we knew each other back then.
Well, here's the crazy part. I took a picture and I posted it, and I got one of Austin Hall of him running that interception back.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And then I got the Kylan Watkins. That was my first time, probably my first time to ever really take pictures. I'm not a photographer. So that was the year, the AAC tournament when they play, or the conference championship when Memphis played in it.
Yeah, Cincy.
And they had the booklet, the AAC booklet, and I opened it up. And there was my Kylan Watkins picture.
Dang.
Nice.
Did you get paid for that?
I didn't get paid a damn dime for that.
Did they credit you?
They didn't credit me one bit.
What did it say? It didn't say anything?
They didn't say anything. There was a picture of Kylan Watkins catch. And I'm like, that's my damn picture.
You need to get set up with Getty Images, my man.
Seriously.
That is wild.
That's kind of sick, though.
That is legit. Dude, how bad was that stadium, though?
Oh, my gosh, dude. You remember how hot it was?
It was.
And my dumbass was wearing a black T-shirt down there.
You do that all the time.
I do.
Every time we see you got like a black hoodie or something on. And TJ and are like, what is Kenny
What
doing?
is he doing right now?
115 on the field.
That was the hottest. And here's the crazy part. So we drove from Memphis. It was me, Jonah Jordan, Devin Walker, Christian, and we left Memphis at 4 a.m., drove to Birmingham,
You drove down there day of?
and then drove down to Mobile, and then our dumbasses drove back to Birmingham, back to Memphis in the same day. Didn't get back to Memphis until like 3 o'clock in the morning.
That's a hard pass for me.
yeah, what?
It was
find me a
miserable.
We
Best
went down
Western.
and made a beach trip of it, so I was down there a couple of days. But
Did you go to Dolphin?
No, we just went over to Orange Beach.
Wait, hold on.
What?
I think I remember this story. Did you have a wedding down there at the same time?
No.
Oh, there was a time you were in Mobile and you had a wedding and you were hammered, and we happened to be in like 30A, and you texted
I
me
asked
drunk.
TJ to come pick me up.
He asked me to drive to Mobile to pick him up. I'm
I was at
"I'm
a
not
hot dog
doing
stand on a Friday night in downtown Mobile.
Hey, man, that's not a very safe place to be.
I mean, I
Downtown Mobile on a Friday night.
don't know. I made it home.
That stadium was boo-boo trash,
But
though.
now they got a real nice on
They have new-
campus.
yeah, they have a new stadium
totally
now.
new stadium that opened literally the year after we were there. Yeah. Gosh, hot dog stands in Mobile, Alabama. Wow. All right, little bit of it's been ramping up. We mentioned it, conference realignment.
Yeah.
The talk of the town has been like Colorado.
Yeah. Arizona, I think, was in there
I
as
think
well.
they've been thrown around. I mean, essentially, it's been Big 12 potentially taking Pac-12 teams, right?
Yeah.
Memphis has been mentioned. Ross Dellinger from Sports Illustrated had an article like 2 weeks ago talking about conference realignment ramping back up. Did mention us along with obviously Colorado, Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, maybe.
I think that's right.
Threw our name out ahead of SMU, UNLV, and San Diego State actually in the Group of Five discussion. How do you feel about conference realignment right now?
I mean, what do you mean by that statement? Because I feel great about
It happening?
There we go. I feel great about going and getting more money and playing better teams, right? What I don't feel great about is our chances of getting into those.
I mean, I think we are about to see dominoes start falling. And whether or not Memphis's domino is in that, I don't know.
I'll tell you what. One thing for sure, I'm tired of being the Big 12's booty call.
But do they actually ever call us?
They pretend like it.
Or are we calling them and they're just not answering?
Regardless, I'm done with
exactly-
it.
I feel like we're the ones sending the you up text.
I'm done.
And we're not getting the bubbles they pop up like they're typing, and then we just never get a response.
I would rather go handcuff myself to Louisville and be one of the ACC leftovers.
Oh, I would love, yes.
So whatever
that's-
the hell
that
the,
is-
the remainder group is,
part
give
of
me that one all
a
day.
part of that is ramped up too. Talking about
all day.
what
Give me
8
that.
teams breaking the grant of rights because they're locked into what is it 2036?
2036, I think is right.
Which is absurd. By the way, I saw this today. Houston, UCF, and Cincy are about to be making more per year than like Florida State, all those ACC teams. How absurd is that?
That's wild. I'm trying to look at the ACC leftovers. Trying to see what that is. It's like Boston College, Louisville.
Yeah, I don't know who this. Well, I think Louisville was supposed to be like the 8th team that was joining the Magnificent Seven to
Nah, dude. They don't want them.
break away. Regardless, something is about to go down.
Yeah, let me stay with the leftovers from the ACC. I think it makes more sense anyway. I'm tired of dealing with the Big 12.
Put me in the leftovers. The leftovers of the Pac-12, ACC, whatever. Get me in something.
Yeah, I mean, of course, right? Give me more money. The university could greatly use more money.
I mean, get my baseball games on ESPN Plus.
I think that would help baseball
Consistently.
for sure. You join the ACC, Big 12. I mean, hell, any conference at that point, right?
I don't know what's going to happen.
Like,
I will tell you, I will be devastated if we get left behind
that
again.
was my question. You get
Literally-
left out again. What? How do you feel?
I don't of this. If it happens this time, I don't know that I recover.
So
I may have to be done with sports. I'm being serious.
okay. why does Memphis make more sense than USF to get into the Big 12? We'll play with that one.
Well, they already have a footprint in Florida. They don't have a footprint in Tennessee. We're right in the middle of SEC country, so your Big 12's getting a step in that area.
Okay.
That's TVs that will tune in. I know everybody talks about the market, so this is something I think talked with you about. Everyone always talks about the overall market size, but Memphis consistently ranks in the top 10 for sure, maybe top 5 most years in just college football viewership, period. And that's the city of, like, if Memphis is playing Texas Tech and Oklahoma State and Kansas State, like in football, like Baylor,
Yeah.
like you're going to get casual fans of other teams tuning into those games more so than you are of Memphis and Temple at 11 o'clock on ESPNU.
It feels like the UCLA game, right?
Yeah.
Granted, UCLA was supposed to be good.
Yeah, and they had Josh Rosen and 5 stars versus walk-ons. See, that was an Anthony Miller quote, 5 stars versus walk-ons. What a great – and we won that game. That was all Anthony.
My point was more so that, like, you played a Power 5, like, you know,
that's
an
what
opponent,
but that's what I'm
that's
saying.
supposed to be
Like,
better than you kind of situation.
the viewership is there for this area in college as it pertains to college football. I don't care how big the overall market is. Like, we're consistently, as far as college football viewership goes, we are consistently in the top 10.
It's that way with other sports too, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Like,
basketball's
even-
the same
even
way.
in the NBA. Like I think there was a stat that I read last year that I think it was during the finals that there were the top 3 viewership of the NBA finals was the 2 cities in which they were playing, and Memphis was 3.
Yeah, like I don't care that Houston is, what are they, 5th TV market?
Yeah,
Who
big
cares
market.
if their TVs aren't on the game? Sure, the potential's there, but like you're not just all of a sudden going to
it's
bring
the potential
in.
of it, though.
Yeah, but that, like, you're
Memphis
either a
has a
college
cap.
football fan or not.
Memphis has a cap that, you know, will make up a number. I don't know the number.
I mean, I know, but my point is, like, if you look at the numbers, Memphis is we are 51st overall TV market, but as far as viewership of college football and basketball goes, we are consistently one of the top cities watching those events.
So I guess new question: would you rather be in the Big 12 or
I don't want to get greedy, but
ACC leftovers? Whatever you want to call that.
you would have to give me a defined list of what ACC leftovers was. So from that, not knowing what that is, I will say, I guess, Big 12. But given the ACC teams that are there, like, I mean, you have history with and have been in conferences with Louisville, Virginia Tech, Florida State. Like, I think you could fit in the ACC.
Yeah, I think that's the one that makes more sense anyway, right? I'm not sure it makes much sense for Memphis to be flying out to San Diego State, Arizona, you know, whatever they
Right.
expand.
Yeah.
If they expand
I
westward.
mean, nobody watches West Coast football.
Dude, Pac-12 after dark, that's a thing.
Yeah, when people have had 15 dirty dovas and
You ain't having 15 dirty dovas, dude.
you'll
be in the-
dirty dovas.
Freaking ICU, 15 dirty dovas.
Goodness.
No, I think it makes more sense. It aligns with our timeline, our time. Like, I'm not trying to stay up until 11 p.m. to watch a kickoff.
Yeah.
I will be struggling
Yeah.
to do that.
I just think we have much more upside than USF, though.
Okay.
I mean, I know they had that run in the 2000s where they were ranked, what? They
2002,
were
number two.
2 in the country in football.
Levitt.
But they have been cheeks basketball.
Sure.
I mean, Tampa, yes, it's a good market, but again, who cares
it's
if
that
nobody,
money, man.
if
Yeah, it's
nobody
definitely the
down
money.
there's watching USF?
No, I agree. I just use USF as an example because I feel like they are potentially a sleeping giant, right? They've got the money, they've got the market,
That is what people call us.
they've got the new stadium is apparently moving forward.
Speaking of new stadiums, I don't know. I'm sure many of you listening got it or have gotten
Yeah,
it.
the email.
The survey email about the stadium and the different seating
Sick.
it got me fired the heck up.
So sick.
And I
could-
marked
throw a screen grab.
likely to purchase for every one of those suite options. And that is, I apologize to whoever's reading the results of that, because no, I will not be paying $25K for a suite that is at field level or whatever, but I would love to.
Everybody gets their own personal iPad.
Yeah.
Just sit down there and play with.
I mean, the stuff that they're looking at doing, though, is sick.
I expect big things with the change. I think a lot of people are looking at it and saying, hey, this is just going to be throwing lipstick on a pig. But I don't think it's going to be that way at all.
About the bowl?
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
revamping it.
Expensive ass stick of lipstick.
Yeah. I mean, you know how you walk in, and it is, no matter what side you walk in, it's a concrete jungle, right? It is a concrete jungle. There's literally concrete walls everywhere. So I think they're trying to get away with that, and that's going to be a lot of money. I don't know how they're going to do it, but they got to figure out a way.
The renderings did look, they are much more appealing to the eye. It looks, I mean, I don't know how close it's going to be to that, but I agree with you. I think it'll be much more than just lipstick on a pig.
I don't want to walk in and have to like duck my head under a pillar, and you start walking to the right side over there.
I don't know how much that'll change.
It's got to change. You've got to open up that walkway inside. I think they'll expand that and just give people a little bit more
How
room.
are we going to play a season during the middle of construction?
That is a damn good question. I have no clue. I think they're only
I
going
still
to have to break it
can't.
up.
I've tried to figure. I just don't know. Like,
Especially if the showboats are a thing.
I mean, I guess they're going based off historical attendance, and they're just going to force all of us to sit on one side. I don't know.
If you think that this XFL or USFL league is going to I don't know how it works. You would never be able to do anything on the home side. You could
Well, that's what I'm saying.
sweeps.
They're
Flip the seats.
yeah, they're going to make everybody sit on the away side.
There's no way.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But that does. I mean, I'm excited. It starts after the Liberty Bowl this year.
Kenny, who do we need to talk to? Let's get some names. I got to figure out how the hell they're going to do this.
I'll reach out to some people. I'll figure it out.
I'm just curious. I mean, I don't know if they'll even be willing to talk to us about anything, but it's a good question.
They're just going to flip the seats. That's what they're
I
going
mean,
to do.
I guess that's what it's got to be. We'll see. Which means our side will be much more crowded, DJ.
I don't know about the sunny side. Sunny side's not for the faint of heart.
It's rough over there.
Only the true
If
G's
that's-
get over on that sunny side.
If that's the case, attendance might be real low next year.
all I know,
those day games.
I go off the sideline over to y'all every once in a while. At the end of the game, y'all are looking like blitz.
I'm just telling
Crispy
you,
red, dude.
any day game that we leave, I leave
Sunburn.
It does not sunburn with a severe headache and extremely dehydrated, and it does not matter how much water I've had. And I've only drank out of the Liberty Bowl water fountains once, and that was that 2017 UCLA game, and that was because they ran out of water, and I was about to pass out.
I'm going to post that video to Twitter tonight if I can find it.
You should.
Trey looked at me and said he's about to have a stroke.
It was
Dude, that UCLA game was
unbearably hot.
It's not even that hot. I went back and looked it up. It was like 87 degrees.
It was 207 degrees inside the Liberty Bowl with no water. And I was drinking out of the water fountain. That tells you how bad it was.
Was it hotter than the Ole Miss game in 2019?
Yes.
See, that one was hot too. I remember leaving that game
The
with the
UCLA
headache.
game is the hottest I've ever been in my life.
That South Alabama game was
Brutal.
brutality.
And that stadium only made it worse.
Was it like the metallic seats, like the aluminum bounce house?
It was all metallic.
It's the worst.
It was all metallic. And hey, the Tiger fans showed up. There was a ton of folks there, but God,
I will say, South Alabama let you take water into the stadium. Though. They
that's
let you
nice.
bring your own water in. I do remember that.
That's nice.
And then I've been to UCF, and they have huge. I hate their stadium, and I hate them. But one thing nice they did have was massive. I'm talking massive jugs of free water around the stadium that you could just go and fill up at any point in time, which was very nice.
What do you mean by that? I'm picturing that giant jug you flip upside down. Like
No,
little
I'm
cone
talking like it was half the size of this room, a massive jug of water that had like
you brought your own bottle.
Right. Or
Okay.
you bought a cup and filled up with water free.
For some reason, I pictured like they were handing out giant jugs.
No.
You're like the mind your business, Dennis. Like the water, that one.
Yeah, no. That would be legit though too.
It's too much water, man.
I'm just imagining though during that season if they actually end up having to flip the home and away side in the Liberty Bowl or in the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, what that's going to be like in the middle of August.
That's what
September?
I'm saying. You better make it all night games.
Oh.
Brutal.
I don't know. It's doable.
But I am if they do the actual Halo, and there were questions in that survey about covered seating, and you better believe I rank that as one of the highest, most important things to improving game day experience. Yeah. If you had covered seating from the elements, I mean, we know how
it affects things so much.
So,
man.
I mean, if there's so much as any chance of rain, you might as well cut attendance by 25%.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
And you get one of those sick, like, fly-out things, like at Autzen.
Yeah.
In Oregon, how they have, like, that giant rain cover, shade cover thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Out.
Like the Halo, I think it was going to be like that. I've said it before. It's very English Premier League stadium feeling. And the company they used has done a lot of English Premier League stadiums.
It does have soccer stadium vibe to it. I'm just excited about it. I don't know what it's actually going to look like. If it looks anything like the renderings, I think it's going to be great. They're making some pretty bold claims about what they're offering. I'm expecting just greenery everywhere. I'm expecting them to open it up, make some walkway. Because currently there's not a lot of space to kind of walk through.
In the end zones, it gets tight.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they're going to clear some of that stuff out.
Yeah, it gets tight for all the media too, because they got so many damn people down there on the sideline.
Yeah,
and then never mind.
That's the other thing.
The security people are no joke down there, and I've gotten into at least 4 or 5 screaming matches with Andy Frame security. Those guys are wild.
We almost saw a marriage occur with Andy Frame security. Oh, man.
Speaking of three-ways.
Right?
Oh, no.
Was weird,
we saw
man.
2 Andy Frame security guards that we thought were dating, but then the female was like flirting with a college. They were like college age.
Yeah.
But the girl security guard was like getting hit on by a guy in the front row next to us, and it looked like who we thought was her boyfriend was getting mad about it. It was this whole. I mean,
He was definitely awkward about it.
I couldn't
without
tell
question.
you what the final score of that game was because all we were watching
bought in on that relationship.
was the Murray episode next to us. Maury.
It was wild. The guy would come down and talk to the girl, and like the boyfriend guy was just like,
Come to find out, they were not together. I think he was just mad at her because she was not supposed to be patronizing
Exactly, 100%.
the fans. She was supposed to be Stonewall Jackson down there, and she was conversing with fans in the stands. He thought they were going to get in trouble.
it was a thing.
All right, let's rate this Dirty Dove.
I liked it.
Right off the bat, this gives me Call of Duty map vibes on the can.
I get that.
You see that? And I'm assuming that Cordova marked by the star.
Yeah, that's probably their exact location, honestly, because that is Medelson, and that's Trinity going that way, and that's Shelby Farms and the dog park. That's my guess.
I mean, it's a fine can.
I like it. It's. I give them bonus points for having the map on there and then starring the tap room location. I'll say on can. I don't want to get crazy with it, but 6-7.
Yeah, that feels appropriate.
Good coloring.
I'll say, yeah, I'll go with you. 6-7 feels right. It just felt right when you said it.
Yeah.
It doesn't really look like a beer can to me, to be honest. Maybe it's the font. It's too.
That is you know what that font is?
It looks very familiar,
It's
but
Grand Theft Auto.
it is.
That's 100% what I
That's why
thought
this has such a video. It's a Grand Theft Auto map. I said Call of Duty. That's like the map in Grand Theft Auto. That's what they're going for.
Is it? That's definitely the font.
Is that not kind of?
Gosh, that does take it up more.
Oh, it takes it up. I thought it would go down a little bit.
No, I think GTA is a great game
I haven't
franchise.
played GTA.
I mean, I haven't either, but I used to.
I'm pulling up a Grand Theft Auto map.
That's definitely what it is. I can't believe you realized that was that font. It still doesn't feel like a beer can, but I'll bump it up to a 7 flat for the Grand Theft Auto theme. Why'd you think a GTA would take it down?
Originality, maybe?
Okay. But see, we liked...
Dude, it's the exact same font.
I know. You said it. That's exactly what it is.
I was kind of messing. It just kind of looked like it, but it is, I mean...
No, it's it.
One
sure.
for one, the font.
This was good, especially for being a double IPA.
Look, this is delicious. I'm going to be honest with you.
The first sip hit hard.
It did. And then it kind of rolled with you.
But then you settle in there and it's good. It didn't feel like 8.5%.
I will say I could definitely have multiple of these. I would probably,
I mean,
given the time frame,
from a overall flavor perspective and just enjoyment, yes. But from an 8.5%, I don't know how many multiples I could have.
I mean, who we playing?
I do
You know,
not
man?
drink as many brews as I once did in my time.
I don't know. You give me let's say midday game against.
You can just sit there and drink 4 or 5 of these through a whole game,
No, gosh, no. No, I could drink 3 of them through a
especially
game.
on a hot day. No, not a
I could,
chance.
100%. I actually like this beer a lot.
I mean, it's good, but beer rating.
I'm gonna go 8.4 out of 10.
That is-
I liked it a lot.
whoa.
It is a double though. I like double IPAs.
I mean, big IPA guy. I mean,
It's
this is
real
at
good.
the total end of the spectrum from Hush May.
For sure. That one's like refreshing and crushable.
Yeah.
This is like it has good flavor, and I don't need that many.
The drinkability, it's not necessarily crushable, but the drinkability is high.
Sure.
I'm not quite that high, but for a double, I did enjoy it. So I'm going to go 7
That's respectable.
out of 10.
You're not a big IPA guy, so
I mean, I
especially for a double IPA.
I don't discriminate against any brew. But yeah, if I've got a choice, I'm probably not picking up the double IPA if there's other options.
We need to get another one of these and give it to Christian. And see what Christian rates it.
It's going to be a big strikeout for old Seafowl. That man went to the casino and didn't gamble. That's the kind of, yeah.
Wow.
He's a wild dude, man.
That he needs to be on a list somewhere.
Yeah,
after-
he's listen,
That's
he's
like saying
wild.
it's like saying you go to Costco,
Yeah.
and
That's
you don't
impressive.
take any of the free
The
samples.
samples. Yeah.
I don't even trust you at that point.
I kind of agree with you.
I mean, he puts mayonnaise on a chicken biscuit. So
This is very true.
That is so. This all makes sense now.
and we're not talking just mayonnaise. I mean, he
Layered.
confessed that it's ice cream sandwich lick
Oh gosh,
around it. That's how much mayonnaise is coming out.
I don't know if there's anything I put mayonnaise on.
Period.
I don't think so. I mean, like ranch doesn't count to me because that's not straight mayonnaise.
I mean, I'm not like a huge mayonnaise person, but I've put it on a sandwich or a burger before.
Kenny, you a mayonnaise guy, Kenny?
No.
I just making sure.
No.
Thought I was a wild card.
This may be next week's
Keg
keg
stand?
stand is what's the best condiment.
Well, we've already got a bracket in line with this beer thing, and TJ's putting a lot of work in on this thing, and I'm excited to see it roll out.
You may or may not see some familiar beers.
That we've had.
That
We've had
bracket.
quite a few, I think.
Yeah.
Was it not a little bit wild though? Like obviously there were a few that got all the votes, but
Sure.
there was a large group of beers there of people liking certain things, and anyway, it was crazy to me.
Yeah, I think the bracket's going to be fun.
I don't
It's
want
also surprising to see some of the breweries' top 4 that
Yeah.
we were trying to guess some of them, and some of the ones that are their top 4 sellers we did not anticipate.
So just to kind of softball it out there, kind of give some general idea. We called most of the main breweries in Memphis trying to get their top 4 sellers in beer. So that way it's not like Trey and I just adding our favorite list of beers in there and it kind of being like a TJ and Trey beer bracket type of situation. We kind of want it to be fair because there's going to be some beers that other people love that perhaps you and I don't love too much, right? So the top 4 from all the breweries, we're going to rank them, seed them, and just let them go to battle. And you guys are going to pick the winner.
Is there a heavy favorite at this point?
Oh, yeah.
Based on his responses, it's got to be Tiny Bomb.
Yeah, based off Twitter.
Number one overall seed is for sure Tiny Bomb.
It seems like Tiny Bomb. It feels like it's gonna come down to Tiny Bomb versus Ghost River Golden. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Is there a Fairleigh Dickinson in the field?
Yeah, you psychopaths that are out there chugging "Gotta Get Up to Get Down" on summer nights. Looking at you, Mark King. You kidding me with that?
He said on summer nights.
I had one the other day.
I will
at
tell you,
Wiseacre.
I've got friends that will down some Gotta Get Sean Sigler will down Gotta Get Up to Get Down after playing a full soccer game in 95-degree weather.
Dude, I had just the regular pint at Wiseacre the other day, and it was like 87 degrees out. And like,
I like Gotta Get Up to Get Down, but after a soccer game,
it's too hot for that, dude.
goodness gracious.
I don't even understand how they do it. It's like drinking syrup.
It's a good beer, though. But
I guess.
in the right situation.
In the winter. With Andy's Mint.
I think we got to give Andy's Mint another fair shot.
Yeah, yo.
In the winter.
Yeah. It's chilly in here. We're scarfed up. We'll do it again.
We're wearing scarves in studio.
It may enhance the flavor. The appropriate outfit on.
I'll put a fake fire on the TV in front of y'all.
Imagine our 24 can fridge is replaced with a fake fire mantle place.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
All right. We'll try it out.
We'll do it again.
Make it fit.
We'll do it next year Christmas episode.
We're going to have to change our slogan, though.
TJ and Trey Fireside Chats.
Fireside Chats. We're going to talk like this the entire time.
ASMR.
That will probably be the least viewed episode that's ever
That's
aired.
fair. We're going to do it.
But hey, we'll do it. It'll be fun for us.
All right.
All right, that
Anything
wraps
else?
up episode 29.
Yeah.
Come back next week. Bring a cold beer. Stay for hot takes. Peace.
If you enjoyed this episode of Tigers Untapped, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Like and subscribe at Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co for comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports.